oes neb yn un nabod o. Mae 1600 o flynyddoedd yn amser hir i'r co. Ond aeth Magnus Maximus o Gymru yn y flwyddyn 303 yn gadael yn genedl gyfan a heddiw dylen ni. Rini yma o hyd, rini yma o hyd, gweitha pawb a phopeth, gweitha pawb a phopeth, gweitha pawb a phopeth, rini yma o hyd, rini yma o hyd, gweitha pawb a phopeth, gweitha pawb a phopeth, gweitha pawb a phopeth, rini yma o Chwythed y gwynt o'r dwyrain, died y storm o'r môr, pallted y mellt yr wybren, a gwedded y daran yn côr. Llifed a grair gwangalon, a llyfed y toiog y llawr, died y fagdi o'n cwmpas, rydyn ni'n barod am doriad y wawr. Rini yma o hyd, gweitha pawb a phopeth, gweitha pawb a phopeth, gweitha pawb a phopeth, rini yma o hyd, rini yma o hyd, gweitha pawb a phopeth, gweitha pawb a phopeth, gweitha pawb a phopeth, rini yma o hyd. Cofiwn i facsen wledig, gadael ein gwlad yn ein darn, a bloeddiwn ger bron y gwledydd, byddwn yma hedydd y farn. Gweitha pob dig Sion Dafydd, gweitha henwagi ei chryw, byddwn yma hyd ddiwedd amser, bydd yr iaith Gymraeg yn fyw. Rini yma o hyd, rini yma o hyd, gweitha pawb a phopeth, gweitha pawb a phopeth, gweitha pawb a phopeth, rini yma o hyd, rini yma o hyd, gweitha pawb a phopeth, gweitha pawb a phopeth, gweitha pawb a phopeth, rini yma o hyd, rini yma o hyd, gweitha pawb a phopeth, gweitha pawb a phopeth, gweitha pawb a phopeth, rini yma o hyd, rini yma o hyd, gweitha pawb a phopeth, gweitha
Croeso dewch i mewn i'n gwlad, ma' na ddigon o daim a ma' na ddipyn o stad. Sa chdi'n tyru fo nhw gyd yn afiach o'r rhad, sa chdi'n tyru fo chdi'n siopa mewn archfarchnad. Ta be, ta be, be ti ffansi ti mawr ta bach, gei di brynu dydi cwsl llai na miliwn ebstrach. Be di dy fwriad ti am ddysgu'r Gymraeg, ti am ddwy'n un tafarn leol poeri ar y ddraig. Ta be, ta be, ta be, ta be. Lladd o cyfoeth ffocaf sydd yn llenwi ein pocedi gwad. Mrs Jones yn cludu'r llanas o'r ein llwyni Mae'n gŵn heb dan nhw sa gynna ni ddim bwyd ar y bwrdd. Ta be, ta be. Dydan ni'n manylion, da ni'n bobl dda sy'n rhoi y cyfle i'r gwersyllwyr wel beth sgynna ni rad. Ond yma mae'r syrcas i a yma mae'r sioe y Cymru croesaw gael gwirion sy'n heb ddysgu o ddoe. Ta be, ta be, ta be, ta be. Croeso i ein harch farchnad ni. Mae bob dim yma ar gael am bris. Helpa dy hun, helpa dy hun, helpa dy hun. Mae'r dewis yn ddiwrodi, nid yn rhaid ni.
Don't talk about it in public. Don't connect. Pull down the newspapers. Keep the television quiet. Hollow out the language. Make us a theme park. Make us a gift shop. Accommodate. 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 As if nothing else had ever happened.
Croeso i ein harch farchnad ni. Mae bob dim yma ar gael am bris. Helpa dy hun, helpa dy hun, helpa dy hun. Christ.
Weithiau dwi'n dybweld di fo'n llygad wedi cael yn sefyll uwch y mynydd. Hardd uwch bai yn gofyn i mi wrando ar gyfrinach a tlws fedra i ddim clywed. Dy lais yn nghwsg bendigeidfran mae'r wlad yma'n sal. Dy hen ynys yn godi wal yw cadw nhw allan yn cadw ni fewn. Mae angen pontydd rhyfeddol gorwedd dros y llu sôn am bontydd. Bobl fel chdi'n un o ddoi a heddiw y dde a'r chwith y gofod rhwng y gofod sy'n tyfu bob dydd bendigeidfran dim ond cawr fedar bontio mor y gwacder mawr rhwng dau ddieithrin a rhwng dau frawd. Mae angen pontydd rhyfeddol bendigeidfran mae'r wlad yma'n sal. Dy hen ynys yn godi wal ynys y cedyrn ynys y gwan. Mae angen pontydd rhyfeddol bendigeidfran mae'r wlad yma'n sal. Dy hen ynys yn godi wal ynys y cedyrn ynys y gwan. Mae angen pontydd rhyfeddol bendigeidfran mae'r wlad yma'n sal. Dy hen ynys yn godi wal ynys y cedyrn ynys y gwan. Mae angen pontydd rhyfeddol bendigeidfran mae'r wlad yma'n sal. Dy hen ynys yn godi wal ynys y cedyrn ynys y gwan.
guitar play. I'm controlled and I scroll till it all falls away. Another dig, another jibe, another rhythm display. Cheap shot, most new, it's the state of the UK. Weddy Craig at a sour hypocrisy. Weddy Benny with his phony equality. Stockholm syndrome, locked away. Drip-fed junk by the press every day. And yeah, dead bunny, jacked up, hack, spit, ball for the money. See the castle built up to look down and subjugate. The legacy lives on in the British state. From the lime blue books to the red top rags, little England gloves to kick others with a clickbait. Some self-determination lead us to liberation. Some self-determination lead us to liberation. They tried to kill our language with a wicked Welsh knob. Happy for our history and culture to rot. Along with our princes and parliament too. On the o hyd ac mae iaith dal yn byw. Felly cofiwch drwy erin, cofiwch Llywelyn, oen Glyndŵr a Narwen ein byddin. Digon o ddŵr, digon o ddir, digon o glo yn dim elw i ni. Digon o egni ond dim o'r cwyd. Does dim yn gwrando a lais bach Cymru. Y llyfrau glas, cas, llancywyddau, pryntau haff wedyn newid ei enwau. Soul right down to the community. Bought and sold through another B&B. Some self-determination lead us to liberation. Some self-determination lead us to liberation. Get up off your knees and be ready for the fight. Rage, rage and make the flame burn bright. Throw Wales from us, not another elite. It's time to believe and put the power on our streets. Ireland will unite, Scotland will be free. Line Cymru, which way will it be? They're coming to burn, our sun is to the ground. But if we save it now, a liberation will be found. Some self-determination lead us to liberation. Some self-determination lead us to liberation.
There is a reason we have a dragon on our flag. Dragons soar aloft on the magic and mystery of the past. We open our mouths to shout it to the world. Eventually, the past will break through.
Some self-determination lead us to liberation. Some self-determination. This is our destination. Some self-determination. Resist our annexation. And top our inspiration.
Amdano a'i ben yn codi'n gryf. Mae'r fflamau'n bragi. Hyn ond mae'r siarad coch yn
Boys, mae da ni jobyn o waith i wneud. Mae eisiau ni fynd draw i Gwfwrddin. Ni wedi bod na o'r blaen, chi'n cofio? 3,000 o'n i'n gorymdeithio mewn i'r dre o dafarn yr arad ar oged yn hen fwlch fyna. Pwy yn arwen i prynu te? Na fe chi'r un Meic Bowen, cwm llunioge fyna yn lle lech. John Harris wedyn y Melindydd o Talog, heb anghofio boes y brodyr Rhys o Ryd y Marchog fyna yn Llanewydd. Wel, oedd na sŵn a swaid yn i a Clyndarddach, Cyrn yn canu, a pawb yn gweiddi cyfiawnder, cyfiawnder, cyfiawnder. Tro ma, maen nhw moyn i yn Gyfwrddin, achos bod nhw eisiau cael gwared o ryw bobl fel Barnet Formula, a ryw bethau fel HS2, mae'n debyg. Boes, Gwfwrddin amdani, gawn ni weld sawl mil fydd na tro ma. Annibyniaeth! 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 A ni wedi cyrraedd.
Garchen Beca! Garchen Beca! Garchen Beca!
I chi'n barod, boys?
Orin!
A ni'n meddwl bod nhw.
Cofiawne!
Siwmai! Na fe, o Taylor Swift yn medru dweud siwmai yn ôl i hi. Ie, siwr i chi te? Oeddech chi'n weddol i gyd? Neu, siwt mae'n ceibo? Sa'n credu bod Taylor Swift i dysgu'r ymadrodd na to. Wel, wara teg i chi, mae yna grigyn jogel o'n chi yma ac yn falch iawn o'ch gweld chi. Cofiwch, wedd lle chi gyd yn sgibo'r Glyn Seithman, a gweud y gwir, wedd lle chi gyd ar glos Glyn Seithman. Oherwydd i chi'n gweld, mae fy ni y dechreuodd y cyfan. Ar odre y fwel. Fwel Cwm Cerwyn. Dyna lle penderfynwyd ar y cam chwildradol hwnnw i whalu Iet Efel Wen. Y tollborth. Y tollborth yn Efel Wen. A'i malu ddi yn rhacs Jibiders Shels. Yn 1839.
Lawr ar Iet!
A hynny, nid dim ond unwaith, ond teirgwaith cyn llwyddo i'w gwaredu hi'n llwyr. I chi'n gweld, mi oedd hi'n cael ei gweld fel symbol o orthrwm ar y werin. Boes mynachlog ddi ar cyffiniau, chi'n gweld. Gyda llaw, wes na rhywun ma heddi yn y dorf o fynachlog ddi. Yn y dorf, dwi'n gwybod bod y strabs ma'n dod o fynachlog ddi, ond na, un i ddoi, neb yn y dorf siawns. Na fe, wel, ma'n o siod wrthi heddi tôn cwrso'r defed, sy'n ni'n meddwl. Na, ware teg, mae yn amser cneifo, yn dywi. A mae hwnnw'n amser bisi. A mae rhaid practiso i'w dalan hwn. Chi'n gwybod nawr, fel wedodd y digrifwr hwnnw, a funny thing happened to me on the way to the theatre. When i'n dod lawr trwy'r pentre gyda fach, a pwy weles i'n dod am lan, ond rhoces ifanc, ond i'n nabod i'n iawn. Oedd i'n arwen treisiad, neu anner, ac wedd i'n cael trafferth, oedd i'n gorfod dalan holbyd dag yn yr eirw. Mi oedd y dreisiad yn ei thynnu i bob man yn gres yr hewl. Oedd hi'n aflonydd iawn. Oedd eisiau rhywbeth arni ddi siwr o fod. Beth sy'n mlaen da ti'n meddwl fi? O, dwi'n mynd ar dreisiad i gael tarw, meddwl hi. Wel, a oedd hi yn strwglan. Pryn bod hi'n gallu'r dala sound yn y penwast. Mae fi'n pwslo to'n bach cyn mentro o grymu, wel, gwranda, ddim yn well i dy dad i wneud y jobi na. O'n i'n nabod hwnnw fyd. A'i hateb i, na, mae'r rhaid cael tarw at y jobin ma. Ie, maen nhw'n hen ac maen nhw'n hen. Ond mae'r hagor i gael. A mi oedd Twm Carnabwth yn gallu'r i dweud nhw. A dwi'n falch o fod ma'n eich plith chi i gynywair ychydig o ysbryd Twm Carnabwth ac ysbryd y Beca. A gyda llaw, sa'n ymddiheirio am bod yn hwyr yn cyrraedd y prynawn yma, oherwydd wedi bod yn dwyn i gof ysbryd y Beca, ysbryd Twm, wrth gerdded ar draws rhan o grib y Preselau. Rhan o'r daith gerdded symbolaidd flynyddol i gofio am y dewrio nôl yn y 40au y ganrif ddiwethaf. Fe wnaethon nhw sefyll yn gadarn yn erbyn bwriad y swyddfa ryfel i gymryd drosodd yr holl lethrau a'i gwneud nhw'n faes ymarfer milwrol parhaol. Do, fe enillwyd. Oedd, mi oedd ysbryd Twm ar y mini y bore yma. A mae pwy bynnag sy'n arddel ysbryd y Beca yn ennill brwydrau gwleu. I chi wedi bod yn gorymdeithio amgylch y dref. Mi oedd y Beca hefyd yn defnyddio gorymdeithiau fel arf ymgyrchu. I chi'n cofio 1843, martio mewn i'r dref fan hyn o dafarn yr arad a'r oged yn hyn fwlch fyna. Gorymdaeth dros gyfiawnder cymdeithasol. Bod 3,000 o bobl, medden nhw, yn blantach a chwbl. Weda nhw sŵn a swai, a clindarddach, llyfedd a cyrn yn canu, a phawb yn gweiddi, cyfiawnder!
Cyfiawnder! Cyfiawnder!
Cyfiawnder!
Cyfiawnder!
Cyfiawnder!
Cyfiawnder!
Ie, a mae'n werth enwi'r rhai o'r arweinwyr pwrni. Na chi, Meic Bowen, cwm Lluniogau isa fyna'n Trelech. Oedd ei ar gewn ceffil gwyn, medden nhw, ac mi oedd ceffil gwyn erbyn hynny wedi tyfu yn symbol o burdeb y frwydr. Y brodyr hys, pryd y marchog yn Llanewi fyna, a heb anghofio John Harris y melynydd o Talog. Mae rhaid bod na rhai o ddysgynyddion y bobl yna yn eich plith chi y prynhawn yma, oherwydd maen nhw wedi heidio i mewn i'r dre o bobman. Pobl Caerfyrddin, Cynwyl, Abernant, Capel Cendi, Blaen y Cod, Meidrym, Gelli Wen a Bant a Hi. A gweud y gwir, fe gas y melynydd amser twff nes mlaen. Bron iddo fe gael ei astudio, ond i bai bod na farnwr trigarog wedi ei ddedfrydu i gyfnod o lafur caled yn unig. Erbyn hynny, chi'n gweld, wedd yr awdurdodau a hyd yn oed pobl Llundain yn gweld bod na gan y Beca achwyniadau teilwng. Do, fe gafwyd comisiwn ynddo fe i edrych mewn i gyflwr cefn gwlad. Ond roedd y werin wedi gorfod brwydro am hynny, a dyna yw ei hanes o'i hyd. Dwi byth yn cael dim byd ar blat. Brwydro bob cam am yr hyn sydd yn deilwng i ni fel cenedl, sef annibyniaeth.
Annibyniaeth!
Ond beth gwell ydw i o frawlan fan hyn? Mae yna fobl hirben, pobl a ffenau maith ar ei ysgwyddau yn barod i'n hannerch ni. Fe gan nhw ddweud beth yw beth. Ond cofiwch, mae ysbryd Rebecca yn fyw yn yr Efelwen ac wedi cyrraedd Gwfwrddin. Annibyniaeth! Annibyniaeth! Annibyniaeth!
Byddwn ffyddlon ein gwlad am ddiffynnon ein tir, pob gormes a brad, maen nhw'n gredu'n y gwir. Tra bo hael yn y nen, tra bo diw i'n ein ben, be fydd ysbryd Rebecca'n fyw yn yr efail wen. Gan ref a hanner yn ôl, lan gwlad o dan ormes, lan drordiaid a hawliau yn tir. Piro, piro. Cymru rydd. Cymru rydd. Cymru rydd. Cymru rydd. All right. Diolch yn fawr iawn I Hefin Wyn am atgyfodi Ysbryd Rebecca. Diolch Hefin, a diolch I Rebecca Aod hefyd. Right, you don't want to hear me speaking or singing, obviously, because we've got a full range of really, really talented speakers now to come and put the cause for Annibyniaeth squarely and fairly in front of you. So rowch croeso mawr to the first of our guest speakers now, well, excluding Hefin, of course, who has already spoken. Please give a warm welcome to Mr. Kevin Campbell.
Prynhawn da Sir Caerfyrddin, prynhawn da Gymru. A mae'n hyfryd gweld gymaint ohonoch chi wedi dod yma, y prynhawn mae I gefnogi'r alwad am annibyniaeth I Gymru. Welcome to Carmarthenshire. It's fantastic to see so many of you here supporting the call for independence for Wales, believing that Wales can be much better than this. Mae Sir Caerfyrddin yn feicrocosm o Gymru gyfan. Mae gyda ni'r ardaloedd gwledig hyfryd i'r gorllewin ac i'r gogledd. Mae gyda ni'r ardaloedd ôl ddiwydiannol, y glo carreg yn Nyffryn Aman, lle ges I magu, a Chwm Gwendraeth ac ardal y gwaith dir a'r tyn yn Llanelli. Ac mae edafedd yr iaith Gymraeg yn sir hon yn clymu ni gyda'n gilydd fel rhyw linyn arian. Yr cymunedau yma yn brwydro hyd I gynnal ac I siarad yr iaith Gymraeg. Fel crwt sydd â'i wreiddiau yn ddwfwn iawn yn y sir hon, wy'n ymwybodol iawn o'r hanes y cewri sydd wedi bod o'n blaen ni, sydd wedi siapo pwy ydw I a pwy I ni, fel pobl Sir Gar a fel pobl Cymru. Hywel dda yn creu cyfreithiau nôl yn y 10fed ganrif. Tywysoges Gwenllian yn ymladd yn erbyn y Normanied, yr arglwydd rhys a'i gestyll ar hyd Dyffryn Tywi. Griffith Jones a'i ysgolion cylchrynol, William Williams Pantycelyn. DJ Williams, y gŵr o Ryd Cymere, un o sylfaenwyr y blaid. These are characters in our history who made what we are today, rooted in Carmarthenshire. Jim Griffiths, the first Secretary of State for Wales, a minor son from Ammanford, who believed in a socialism and a statehood and a nationhood that was rooted in Wales. A mae gyda ni hefyd, Dafydd Iwan, wrth gwrs, sydd ddim wedi fod ar y llwyfan, crwt o Fryn Aman, sydd wedi rhoi fywyd cyfan I frwydro dros yr iaith Gymraeg ac I fyny annibyniaeth I Gymru. Gŵr ar un adeg oedd yn cael mwy o selfies na Gareth Bale. And we had Twmsion Cati, our own Robin Hood, who believed in shared prosperity before Boris Johnson even thought of the idea. And although with forced damn it worked, he gave to the poor because they deserved it. Something our politicians for the last 14 years have forgotten everything about. Ac I ni wedi clywed am y digwyddiadau gwrth ryfel, hanes hir o hwnnw, Merched Beca, Twm Cwrnabwth yn ei harwen ac mae yna arian yn cael ei godi ar hyn o bryd I godi cofeb iddo fe yn yr efail wen. Ymgyrch Eileen Beasley I fyny treth cyngor yn yr iaith Gymraeg. Brwydyr Llangynddeirn yn erbyn boddi'r cwm I rhoi dŵr I Abertawe. Streic y glowyr yn 1984 ac o'n i'n falch iawn I fod gyda'n ffrindiau yn yr ysgol ar y llinellau piced yna. Pobl oedd yn ymladd dros I swyddi ac yn ymladd dros I cymunedau nhw, a protest diweddar gan y ffermwyr hefyd. Dyma'r math o radicaliaeth sydd wedi wreiddio'n ddwfwn yn yr egwyddor o gyfiawnder cymdeithasol. Ond allwn I ddim a gadael y man hwn heddi, y sir hon heddi, heb sôn am un. A greodd ddeiargryn gwleidyddol ar y 14 o Orffennaf 1966. Gwynfor Evans yn ennill y sedd hon I Blaid Cymru. A mynd ymlaen I fod yn ladmerydd ac yn lais cryf dros ddyfodol Cymru. It was Gwynfor Evans' victory in this constituency in 1966 that made the case that to have control over our own destiny after centuries of oppression and subjugation was the only way forward. It was a turning point in our history when politically we said for the first time, digon yw digon, enough is enough. But Carmarthen's appetite for creating political tsunamis didn't end there. Oh no. It was Carmarthen's vote in 1997 that got us over the line in the devolution referendum that led to the creation of our National Assembly, now our Senedd. Now, we obviously like to create a bit of theatre in Sir Gar, and we are ready for more, because on the 4th of July, we will elect Ann Davies as our Plaid Cymru MP, and we want to send her to Westminster to represent Gwynfor's old seat. Ann, ble bynnag wyt ti, mae yna filoedd o bobl yn Sir Gar y tu ôl I ti. Ymlaen I fuddugoliaeth I Ann Davies ar y 4 o Orffennaf. Let's look around to see where we are today. We see in our rural communities, replicated in so many of our urban towns and villages, a picture of demise. The closure of post offices, schools, pubs, chapels, banks. The only banks opening now are food banks in their hundreds, which is a legacy of the failed Tory policy of austerity and economic mismanagement. In the health service, we have waiting lists which are the longest on record. An ambulance service at the point of collapse, the social care sector creaking at the seams. People are dying unnecessarily on hospital trolleys. That's not the way that things should be. We must change that. And having the tools at our disposal by being an independent country is the only way we can turn that around, gyfeillion. A dyma'r waddol y mae San Steffan wedi roi I hynny, oherwydd nad yw Cymru'n cael ei hariannu'n deg yn ôl I hangen. Ond fel hyn mae'r sefydliad Prydeinig eisiau ni fod. Maen nhw eisiau ni'n cadw ni'n diog, yn ddiamadferth, yn wasaidd, yn begian, yn fwy o frywsion o fwrdd ein meistri. Na, digon yw digon. Wy'n dod at y terfyn. My grandfather was a miner who died at the age of 48 of pneumoconiosis. He spent the last few years of his life in bed with an oxygen mask helping to keep him breathing. And for every particle of dust caked in his lungs, someone is counting the pound notes of his sacrifice. Thousands like him gave their lives and ruined their health to prop up a capitalist system that cared so much about profit, but so little for human life. And for everything he gave, my grandmother received not 1 penny of compensation. Never again, my friends, are we to give up our wealth so easily. The wealth that was exploited for the greed of others, but never used to ease the burdens of the poor. Ond mae a hanes yn ail adrodd I hun nawr, gyfeillion. Mae yna gwmni yn Sir Gar, Built Energy. Cwmni tramor yn bygwth codi pailonau ar hyd Dyffryn Tywi, Cwm Gwili a Dyffryn Teifi. Anharddu yn hardaloedd ysblenydd ni fel y tomenni glo flynyddoedd yn ôl. Mwyn gwneud elw I eraill, yr economi echdynol ar waith unwaith eto. cwmnïau o bant yn cael y gacen, a'n cymunedau ni yn Sir Gar yn cael y brywsion. Digon yw digon, gadewch i ni ddweud na wrth y peilonau, y mynnu bod y cables yma yn cael eu claddu dan y ddeiar. A dwi am orffen drwy droi at un arall o emynwyr mawr Sir Gar, sef Watkin Wyn o Rydaman. Awdur yr emyn adnabyddus, rwy'n gweld o bell y dydd yn dod. A mae'r emyn yn gorffen gyda'r llinellau anfarwol hyn. Mae pen y bryniau'n llawenhau, wrth weld yr haul yn agosau, a'r nos yn cilio draw. Gadewch i ni fynd o Sir Gar heddi, i ben y bryniau hynny, i ddychmygu dyfodol gwell yn cenedl. Gwlad lle oes neb yn byw mewn clodi, lle mae pawb a to uwch ei pen, lle mae pobl ifanc yn gallu aros yn eu cymunedau, i gael swyddi ac i gael tai. A gadewch i gymylau dion ein diffyg hyder yn diffyg hunan gred fel cenedl, gael eich chwythu ymaith, a bod y nos sydd wedi cael amdanom yn llawer rhy hir yn cilio draw. Only we can make independence happen, and it begins with a realization in our hearts and in our minds that we are already free. Let's march on to rid ourselves from the shackles of a Westminster system that has kept us poor and servile for too long. We can do this together. We can become an independent nation. Diolch o galon I chi gyd am ddod yma prynhawn yma. Mae annibyniaeth o fewn ein gafel. Daliwch I gredu, pobl Cymru.
Hi guys, shwmai pawb, Bethany Davis sydd yma, Bethany Davis here. Some of you might recognise me from TikTok, if so, shwmai. I have been a content creator online on social media, specifically TikTok now, for over 3 years. Shining a light on Welsh culture, promoting the Welsh language, and of course discussing the key elements of Welsh history. I discuss an array of subjects, yet the one that always sparks debate without fail is the subject of Welsh independence. Besides the usual arguments of too small, too poor, too insignificant, the one comment I continue to receive daily is the notion that Welsh independence is this new, novel concept. The invention of far-left wokeism, right? The byproduct of bored snowflakes without a cause. But what these people don't realise is that independence in Wales is not a new, nor is it a novel concept at all. It is not the result of a world gone mad through a global pandemic. It is not the latest trend, current and fashionable today, only to be replaced by another trend tomorrow. The Welsh have always fought for their liberties and freedoms. History tells us so. From the conquest of Wales in 1282 by Edward I began a tradition of revolution and uprising in Wales. Rhys ap Meredydd led a Welsh revolt in South Wales between the years of 1287 and 1288. Madog ap Llywelyn did the same in 1294. Llywelyn Bren, Owain Lawgoch, and most notably Owain Glyndŵr all rose armies during the Middle Ages in a bid for independence. Moving into modernity, there is significant social unrest and revolutionary action in Wales. The Rebecca riots, the Merthyr Rising, Newport Rising, all a result of persistent and profound inequalities in Wales. The proletariat versus the bourgeoisie, a historical struggle that is still most relevant today. Such unrest led to what is today known as Brad y Llyfrau Gleeson, the treachery of the Blue Books. An inquest into education in Wales during the 19th century, the report found that the Welsh language was backwards. It was holding the Welsh people back, and it was a threat to the successful assimilation of Wales into the superior England. Specifically, the Welsh were found to be unclean, wild, unruly, immoral and rebellious by nature. Yet, instead of internalising these characteristics, the Welsh responded by adopting them and turning it into an identity to be proud of. Werin. Instead of wild, they were passionate, not backward but cultured, loyal and proud, an identity that's been passed down generation to generation and has seen the Welsh people through too many injustices. The drowning of Capel Celyn and the Tryweryn Valley, the only Welsh monoglot community left in Wales. Thatcherism in the 80s, resulting in employment and poverty. Today's cost of living crisis. 14 years of austerity caused by a government that Wales has never elected in its voting history. We look to the past to inspire change. It teaches valuable lessons, highlights traditions and establishes a historical timeline by which we can track our revolutionary history. In 700 years, nothing has changed. It is the same struggle, the same fight, the same grievances and inequalities. While the semantics might vary, the root of all trouble remains, and it will always remain until Wales gains independence. But we are Werin. Proud, loyal, passionate, inspired by the fight of those before us. We are Cymru, always and forever, and we aren't going anywhere. Diolch yn fawr iawn. Thank you so much.
Diolch yn fawr iawn am eiriau caredig a ysbrydoledig Bethany Davies. Really sad that Bethany couldn't be with us today. She had intended to, but her health prevented that from happening. So, i ni'n mynd I symud ymlaen nawr. Mynd I gyflwyno'r siaradwr nesaf I chi. So, Gwyn, oro, Gwyn oro Joe, owns Gwyn, oro, Gwyn oro Joe, a dyma fe, yeah!
Wel, erioed wedi cael cyflwyniad fyna. Wedi siarad dros canodd o lefydd, dros y hanner can mlynedd ddiwetha. Dim wedi siarad ers rhyw 10 mlynedd felly. Rwy byth yn paratoi areth. Dylanwad y capel o Ysgol Sul ac yn y blaen. So beth aw allan o fi nawr, dyw e ddim wedi cael ei gynllunio. It's a great privilege. In fact, I'm a bit touched by all this. The thought of being amongst you all in the 60s and the 70s was not on in Welsh politics. Welsh politics in the 60s and the 70s was full of hatred, animosity, titanic struggles that divided Wales, divided parties. It was not a good place to be. But I found myself in the middle of it, in Carmarthen. And this is a place I love very well. Born in this place, but that's not the issue. We are now talking about the future. And that's what it's all about, okay? We're all here. We've been a long time. I spoke with David Iwan about it earlier on. Odi, yn I yma o hyd. That case has been solved. Everybody knows it. The issue now is, what are we going to do about it? Where do we go in the future? When you look back, think of the struggles, okay? I'm old enough to terrible struggles that Jim Griffiths and others fought inside the Labour Party. Bitter struggles. Jim Griffiths was hated inside his own party. He opposed an Iron Bevan on many, many issues. But Jim was determined, not in the 50s, in the 30s, to set up a Secretary of State for Wales and a Welsh office. I'll tell you a little story, and it's true, and I know it to be true. because it's told me many times. The Labour Party in the 50s hated what Jim was trying to do. And he wanted to have the commitment in the 1959 general election that should Labour win, there will be a Welsh office and a Secretary of State for Wales. It was blocked and blocked and blocked. It came to the manifesto for the 1964 general election. And the National Executive of the Labour Party met, Bevan one side of the table, Jim the other, both of them vehemently disagreeing. And Jim lost a vote. And he broke down and cried in a National Executive meeting. And Nye Bevan got up, crossed the table, put his hand on Jim's shoulder and said, Jim, if it means that to you, by God, you're going to have it. And that's what happened. Exactly what happened. By God, if it means that much to you, exactly you can have it. So for the first time, Wales was accepted as an administrative entity. Gwlad a Chenedl wrth ei hunan. But unfortunately, things have wavered, haven't they? I'm going to move forward now. I'm going to jump many, many decades, maybe. The issue is, what of the future? And that's where I am. At my age, what's done is done, okay? What's happened is happened. The pluses and the minuses, the divisions and the successes, what should have been, what could be, doesn't matter. It really does not matter. Don't dwell on it. Don't live in it. Ignore it, forget it, it's gone. What happens for the future is the essential thing now. And let me tell you some of my worries. The first clear worry is that after Brexit, the Welsh identity, the power of Wales within the Senedd, the power of a Welsh government has been deliberately undermined. It's not an accident. It's not an accident at all. They created an internal market bill. They created a levelling up setup. And all that was organised from Westminster. There's a sign outside there, Westminster is broken. Bob Orlando, Westminster has been broken for decades. For decades and decades. And why is that? If you know the British Constitution, it's based on the sovereignty of Parliament. Parliament can do anything. Parliament could vote to say, you see that cat? That's a dog. It can. It's doing it now. The Supreme Court said Rwanda is not safe. What did the Tories, what did Sunak do? He passed a law that he made people vote on. Yes, Rwanda is life. Simple, isn't it? The sovereignty of Parliament, which has undermined so much of this country for years. And that is the challenge. How do you get the mindset of people to realise? And what do you know what the sovereignty of Parliament means? The king in Parliament. That's what the sovereignty of Parliament is. It's historical, isn't it? I'm now beginning to tell you a lecture. I've got to stop it. So here we go. Boris Johnson came along, and what did Boris say? It was a mistake to have devolution. That's what he said. A mistake. And now we have a general election. And there's a Labour manifesto. Don't bother about the Tories, it's gone. That's gone. You know what I mean? It's... I told somebody yesterday, the election is over. You know, let's get on with the vote, we're wasting time here. The reality is, there's a Labour manifesto, and I read it last night. The reference to Wales, the sovereignty and the future of Wales, the reference to additional powers to the Welsh Senedd, hardly mentioned. Hardly mentioned. And my great fear is that we're going to have a Labour government, which I'm quite happy to have. But my great fear is that for 10 plus years, it will not give Wales too much at all. That's the reality. And that is the opportunity. That is the opportunity for the future. That is where we need to fit in, to stick in, to keep on campaigning, like people did in years of old. Do it now. Carry on. Joe Stevens, who will be the next Secretary of State for Wales, well, yeah. I know, but she will be, right? You can protest as much as you want, but she will be. Did you see her on Byd ar Bedwar? Did you listen to her very hard? What Joe Stevens really said is, Wales will be represented in the Senedd or in Westminster by her as the Welsh Office Secretary of State. That's going back, taking us back 50 years. That was the argument decades ago. In fact, there is no case. I've said this for years. There is no case for a Secretary of State for Wales. We have a Senedd. If you want to represent Wales at Westminster to the Westminster government, the Senedd is the place. The first Secretary of State for Wales, the first Minister of Wales for Wales, although I've said more than once, yn Gymraeg mae'n cael ei enw yn prif weinidog. Dim y gweinidog cynta. He's not the first minister. He's the prif weinidog. And I've told Draco many a time, listen, you're a Prime Minister. You're a Prime Minister. And we're going to miss Mark Drakeford, you mark my words. Mark Drakeford fought for Wales. He stood up to Boris Johnson. He stood up during the COVID. He stood up in many other areas. We're going to miss him. And we are landed with, God, it's public this meeting, isn't it? I better be careful. Huh? I better be careful. He won't be there long, don't worry. The general election will come and go. And the Labour Party have read the vibes. They've read the tea leaves. They know what's going to happen. And somewhere along the line, in the next year or so, he'll be gone. And he should be gone. What a fiasco. What a terrible situation. Now then, I was told actually, it's only 5 minutes. But blame Kevin Campbell, right? I was prepared to speak for 5 minutes. But he spent half an hour. Now, I just want to finish on one thing. I could go on forever. I was born in a situation where public speaking and oratory was a gift, and I've had that gift. I don't know where I've had it from. I blame Ysgol Sul, our capel, a gwrando ar hen brigethwyr Cymru, actorion mawr, Jubilee Young, Tom Nevin Williams, a'r bobl ma. Ac o fyna, dethodd e gyda fi. Now then, what of the future? We can't keep on marching, right? Do your rallies a couple of times a year, fine. We've now got to get serious. And the seriousness is we need to set up serious, significant organizations. The first one is citizens' assemblies. Involve the people. Tynwch y bobl I fewn. Tynwch cymdeithas I fewn. Tynwch bobl cyffredin, Gwerin Cymru, I fewn I drafodaethau lleol. Not an organisation that we meet twice a year. We need this sort of event in every town and city and village in Wales for the next few years. That's what is. Doesn't matter if only 100 turn up. I know, he's telling me to finish. Doesn't matter if only 100 turn up. We need that. And above all, we need a Welsh standing convention. Do you know what that means? It will be a permanent convention. where representatives of civic society, voluntary organisation, charities, the churches, the unions, you must have politicians, you can have them if you want. But the reality is they should meet regularly, prepare reports, prepare... The writing of what needs to be done for Wales has been done. It was done by the Independent Commission. It was done by Plaid Cymru. I saw Adam earlier and I told him their booklet on Annibyniaeth is special. It's brilliant. My son, Glyndwr Kennedy, he does all sorts of things in that direction. We need action now. We need something substantial and serious and professional. And what is required is a Wales Standing Convention where people can meet together, academics, experienced business people, and prepare for the future. Otherwise, I tell you now, you'll be campaigning 10 years' time. You'll be singing about Heed 10 years' time. But I want you to think about what are we going to do after today. Diolch yn fawr.
OK, diolch yn fawr iawn am y geiriau ysbrydoledig na gan Gwynoro Jones. Certainly fired us all up, I think, because we do need to move the needle with what we're doing. Because it would be very easy, wouldn't it, to go back to work on Monday and have that sort of discussion in the office where everyone's saying, oh, what did you do on the weekend then? You know, I might say, oh, I met some friends in the park, you know, which, strictly speaking, would be true. But I could also question then why they weren't there in the park with me. So, you know, it's not about keeping it to ourselves anymore. We need to start having these conversations and getting out there and questioning people. And if they're against Annibyniaeth, make them question themselves then, the reasons why they're against Annibyniaeth. Right, OK, now then. Special guest appearances here now. I'm sure a lot of you will have seen on social media a fantastic film that took us all by surprise, really. So there was something in the air that night, wasn't there, Mari? It was anhygoel, siwta thirty gilydd. And it just, naws, the whole feel of it was absolutely incredible. So the soundtrack for that film, for the promotional film that we did with Hefin Wyn and the Bicard, a Rebel, as you know, it's really sort of fired people up again. So we're delighted that this afternoon we've got Mari Matthias herself, who is going to sing Rebel, with the ably accompanied by Gwilym Bowen Rhys. Wel, croeso mawr.
Mae'r nos yn cael amdano a'i ben yn codi'n gryf. Mae'r fflamau'n bragu hinog, mae'r siaced goch y bryd, y barddwr ddirgelwch yn arwain geiriau pur dros y mynydd a bryniau braw. Mae'r nos yn alw am fflamau ddraig. A drwg yw'r rai sy'n codi'r iaith yn ymladd am hawl i edrych. Y rebel i arwr y rebel sy'n codi sŵn y deli. Tan, tan, tan yn ei gwaed, mae'r ddinas yn ei alw. Tan, tan o ddan i traed, mae'r nos yn aros amdanyn nhw. gaid anwyl, mae cyfrinach a cynllun gryf. Tanwydd, lliwiau'r llewod i beintio grym y llif. Os na welwch chi yn niwl yn dod i gyddio hetiau ddi. Gwynebau y wawr, mae'r nos yn alw am fflamau brawd. A drwg yw'r rai sy'n codi'r iaith yn ymladd yn hawliau y rebel, yn arwr y rebel sy'n codi sŵn y delyn. Tan, tan, tan yn ei gwain, mae'r ddinas yn ei alw. Tan, tan, o ddan i traed yr nos yn aros amdanyn. Dyn yma Caerfyrddin. Os grandewch yn astyd, astyd, clywch carlam y ceffyl a'r fflamau sy'n cweryl, cweryl. Os grandewch yn astyd, astyd, clywch carlam y ceffyl a'r fflamau sy'n cweryl, cweryl. Yn ymladd ym hawliau dyn. Y rebel, i arwr y rebel sy'n codi sŵn y delyn. Tan, tan, tan yn ei gwael, mae'r ddinas yn ei arwr. Tan, tan, o ddan ei traed, mae'r nos yn aros amdanyn nhw. Cymru Rydd!
Cymru Rydd!
Diolch Caerfyrddin.
OK, mae fe'n gyfle nawr i fi sôn am y ffaith bod Mari Mathias a Gwilym Bowen Rhys yn mynd i fod gyda ni heno yn y drofers. Drofers? Boar's Head. O'n i'n tafarn anghywir fyna. Yn y Boar's Head heno, sesiwn ganu fawreddog. So croeso i bawb. Dewch, mae fe am ddim, ond bosib byddwn ni'n codi arnoch chi i adael. OK, so it's free to get in, but you may have to pay to get out. So, nawr te. Rwy'n croeso mawr nawr te i'n siarad draig nesa, Mererid Hopwood!
Diolch yn fawr iawn, iawn. Ffrindiau, ni di gorymdeithio yma heddi, nid yn erbyn dim, ond dros. Dros Annibyniaeth a dros Gymru. Cantorion, ceir werthwyr, marchnatwyr, meddygon, seiri, surgeons, tattoo artists, teachers, trydanwyr, rei gryfel like giants and tiny babies in prams, and grandmothers like myself. We're standing here not against anything, but for independence and for a better future. Oherwydd Mae gorymdaeth dros annibyniaeth yn orymdaeth dros ddyfodol gwell. Yes, nag no, a nid i un neu ddoi ohono ni, ond dros bawb, bob un ohono ni. Ac wrth feddwl am fy ngys a gwell dyfodol, dwi wrth gwrs yn meddwl am ddeiseb heddwch ryfeddol ein neiniau ni. That 400,000 strong petition by the women of Wales calling for a better wall-less world exactly 100 years ago. Nawr, dyn ni ddim yn galw'n benodol am fyd o heddwch heddiw. Ond bydd y Gymru annibynnol siawns yn cofleidio'r gwerthoedd hynny. Ac mae geiriau'r ddeiseb yn berthnasol i ni, yr hirddydd haf wedai heilog hwn. The future is big with hope. So said those women 100 years ago. Note the tense, is big with hope. Not will be, mae yfori'n llawn gobaith. Y presennol, the present. Dalwch sownd, dyfodol, yn bresennol. Sut? Wel, mae'r un gair bach nesa, yr her sy'n dilyn y gosodiad yn ateb y cwestiwn. Os. Os gwnaw ni ein rhan. The future is big with hope if we, the people of Wales today, play our part. We carry the future in our present. We are the future, all of us, not just the tiny toots and pushchairs. The oldest amongst us is the future. Because no matter how old we are, tomorrow is fruit. Depends on the seeds we plant and tend today. All of us. Ac mae'r ardd, y wynllan, gyfeillion, i ni'n gwybod yn drad moch. Annibendod sydd gyda ni ar hyn o bryd, nag annibyniaeth. And make no mistaking, this tending is not about tidying up the mess. This is planting anew for a different success. Gwahanol, dyma'n cyfle ni, ffrindiau, i greu gardd wahanol, decach, well, i bawb. A garden, a patch of land. The wonderful thing about the Welsh word Cymru is that it means a people who share a patch of land together. It doesn't matter when we came here or where we came from. If we're here today, listening to the landscape, sharing our stories, then we are, all of us, Cymru, together. A siarad am erddi yn y Together Land hwn, yn yr allotment tu ôl i gapel y priordy, mae bwrdd bach digon hawdd i'w golli. Boasting the spot where we believe the Black Book of Carmarthen was compiled. Y llyfryn rhyfeddol sy'n sôn am Arthur a Myrddin a'r ddau air bach tang nefedd rhyngom. So as we go about sowing the seeds of our independence, let's remember those words from the ancient Welsh text, and let's do so with passion, yes, but compassion too. Nawr te. Ond dim pawb, ffrindiau, yn cofio'r llyfr di, nac yn cofio'r ddeiseb. Ni di dod yn arbenigwyr ar anghofio. Ac eto, mae rhywbeth yn y tir sydd just yn ddigon i'n cadw ni i wybod ein bod ni yn Gymru. It's almost 500 years ago since Raphael Holinshed wrote the book, the stories of these islands, and called it, wait for it, you're not gonna like this. The title was The Chronicles of England, Scotland and Ireland. Yet despite that sleight of hand that saw Wales vanish into thin air, Rini yma o hyd a mae e tu ôl fyna, still here, but not still. No, we're moving. We're rolling up our sleeves for independence, for a better future that has already begun. Achos mae gobaith gyda ni. Practical hope. Practical hope. That energy where the future meets the present. The energy that's not a crossing of fingers, but an imagining of a better place and a finding a way to get there. Mae'r nos yn aros amdana ni, meddai Mari a Gwilym. Ydyn gyfeillion ni ar y trothwy hwnnw, y man rhwng nos a dydd, lle mae'r hen heddiw'n troi'n ddoe ac y fori'n troi'n heddiw newydd. Ac byw'n falch yng Nghaerfyrddin ers 30 o flynyddoedd a mwy, dwi'n mentro I dref fy mebyd ac fy ngeni I gloi. Nôl I Gaerdydd ac i'r brif ddinas, to Cardiff and her motto, gyfeillion, deffro, mae'n ddydd. Diolch.
Wel, am siaradraig ysbrydoledig arall, ynddo fe? Nawr, so os ych chi ffansi o bwyd, unwaith byddwn ni wedi cwpla fan hyn, mae cynnig arbennig I gael yn yr Boar's Head, nid y Drovers, le ych chi'n gallu cael pryd o fwyd am 5 pint. Okay? Just gofynwch am yr gwledd i'r gorymdeithwyr, fi'n credu, maen nhw'n I alw fe. So there's a March menu, special offer, brilliant for families. So £5 in the Boar's Head, between 3 and 5. Now then, next speaker, brilliant. I'm sure she's going to be wonderful because she was great doing the Gwyn Alf memorial lecture for us in Merthyr. So I'm sure she's not going to disappoint. Please give a big Carmarthen welcome. Beth Winter.
Diolch yn fawr. Diolch yn fawr am y gwahoddiad I siarad heddiw ac mae fe'n pleser enfawr I fod yma gyda chi. A rwy'n sefyll yma heddiw fel sosialydd. I stand here today with you as a socialist. Committed to fight for transformational change. For a fairer, more equal, greener society, Cymru for all, based on dignity, equality and social justice. Nawr, fel chi, dwi'n caru Cymru. Gwlad gwyrdd, diwylliant Cymraeg cyfoethog, cenedl gref gyda hanes balch, o fod ar flaen y gad o ran brwydr dosbarth gweithwyr ac o ran newid ein cymdeithas. Mae hanes Cymru wedi bod yn un lle mae ein hadnoddau naturiol helaeth wedi creu cyfoeth enfawr. Ond nid yw pobl Cymru a greodd y cyfoeth hwnnw wedi elwa ohono. Wales is a rich nation and has created vast wealth, but this has been extracted. Mae ein cyfoeth ni wedi ei dynnu oddi wrthom ni I lenwi pocedi yn ychydig o gyfalwyr tra bod y nifer sy'n helpu I greu y cyfoeth yn dioddef, tlodi, caledu ac anghyfiawnder. The prevailing neoliberal economic orthodoxy that has dominated our political and economic thinking for decades in the UK has failed Cymru. It puts profit before people, elw o flaen pobl, and has resulted in an unprecedented re-centralisation of power and wealth in San Steffan. A dyna beth sydd yn rhoi nerth I fi. That's what gives me strength. Knowledge that through unity we can build a movement of change for Cymru. A rhaid I ni ymgyrchu, we must campaign, ar y materion sydd o bwys I ni. A fydd yn sicrhau ail ddosbarthu cyfoeth a grym a gwella pobl bywydau Cymru. Galw ar y Llywodraeth yn San Steffan, call on the UK government to redistribute wealth, ail ddosbarthu y cyfoeth. Gan gynnwys cyllid teg I Gymru, Fairness-based funding for Wales, talu y 500,000 o bunnoedd sydd yn ddiledus I wneud i'r tomenni glo peryglus yn saff. Pay Wales over £1 billion in the post-Brexit deal that they owe us. Talu nôl dros 1 billion o bunnau I ni. A talu Cymru 4 billion yn HS2 consequentials. A datganol i'r stad y goron fel bod ni yn gallu penderfynu ble mae'r arian yn mynd yng Nghymru. A cyflwyno treth cyfoeth. Nawr credaf yn gryf bod ffordd arall yn bosibl. And I firmly do believe that another way is possible. But it means us uniting and standing together in unity. Mewn undod mae nerth. And we also need the redistribution of political power. Ail ddosbarthu pŵer gwleidyddol, the two go hand in hand. Ac mae gwaith rhagorol y Comisiwn Annibyniaeth ar ddyfodol cyfansoddiadol Cymru, the Independent Commission on the Constitutional Future of Wales, mae fe'n cynnig cyfle I ni grymhau grym gwleidyddol ac economaidd Cymru. Mae yna 3 opsiwn ar y ford. Datganoli mwy, federaliaeth ac annibyniaeth, a rhaid I bob opsiwn fod ar y ford. But none of this is possible. None of it is possible unless we gain the involvement of the people of Wales. Rhaid I ni adeiladu, gweithio gyda'n gilydd I adeiladu mudiad ar draws Cymru. And if politics fails to deliver that, the alternative should terrify us all. Mae'r eithafol, the far right is on the ascendancy. Nid yn unig ar draws Cymru, not only across Wales, but across the whole of Europe, peddling their politics of hate. Scapegoating migrants, people on social security benefits. Extremely dangerous, peryglus iawn. Ond mae gen I gobaith. Mae na awydd am newid. Mae pobl moyn newid traws newidiol. A fydd yn rhoi diwedd ar dlodi ac anghyfiawnder. Ac yn rhoi dyfodol diogel i'n plant ni. Yn y 6 gwlad mwyaf cyfoethog yn y byd, mae hynny yn bosibl. Ond rhaid I ni gael dewrder gwleidyddol I wneud I hynny ddigwydd. A ni'n dangos y ffordd sut I wneud hynny yma yng Nghymru. Now is the time for progressive forces across Wales I gydweithio to work together for a socialist future. Socialist policies that give people hope and a vision for a kinder, more compassionate, equal society for all. Adeiladu cymdeithas sy'n rhoi pobl cyn elw. Hynny yw i'r llawer, nid yr ychydig. Yma yng Nghymru, ond ar draws y byd. Ac mae fe'n pleser I weld y baneri sydd yn cefnogi Palestinian. It is lovely to see the banners here in support of Palestine. A rhaid I ni cefnogi y pobl Palestinian. Ni angen cydoediad nawr a stopio gwerthiarfau I Israel. We need an immediate ceasefire and we must stop arming Israel. We're internationalists as well as nationalists yma yng Nghymru. And this can be done because once people are presented with that alternative, they will see that they've got nothing to lose. Indeed, we have a world to win. Mae gennym ni fyd yw ennill. Mae gobaith dy fi mewn undod mae nerth. Mewn undod mae nerth. Diolch yn fawr.
Wel, na fe, oedd hwnna yn ysbrydau digynoedd. Very inspiring words from Beth Winter. Nawr, I ni wastad wedi bod yn lwcus iawn gyda'r tywydd ar yn gorymdeithiau, yndyn ni? A lan at byti wythnos yn ôl, things weren't looking good for the weather forecast for this march today in Carmarthen. So, I was worried, like everyone else, that we were going to have our first downpour at an independence march. So I turned to Siri and I said, Siri, surely it's not going to rain on our march in Carmarthen? And Siri said, no, it's not. And don't call me Shirley. And that's when I realised I'd left my phone on airplane mode. Well, some of you got it. Anyway, nawr te. Sim angen cyflwyniad i'r person nesaf yma. He needs no introduction, but I probably should anyway, because it would be extremely rude of me to just say nothing and drop the mic. Rwy'n croeso mawr, Dafydd Iwan!
Diolch yn fawr, diolch yn fawr. Diolch, Phil. Mae'r Comisiwn Etholiadol yn poeni rhag I ni ddefnyddio pnawn yma ar gyfer areithiau politigaidd. Gobeithio bod nhw wedi gwrando ar Beth Winter. Mae'n bleser cael rhannu llwyfan gyda ti, Beth. A gobeithio gewn ni rannu llwyfan yn amlach yn y dyfodol. Mae rhywbeth yn dweud wrtho I bydd rhaid I ni. Ond sy'n eisiau'r Comisiwn Etholiadol I boeni. Dyn ni ddim yma I sôn am politics. I ni'n sôn am annibyniaeth cenedl. Sgen annibyniaeth ddim byd I wneud efo politics. Politics yw'r dadle diflas mae rhwng Starmer a Sunak. Diolch byd I wneud efo dyfodol cenedl. Annibyniaeth ydy cenedl y Cymru yn mynnu byw, yn mynnu dyfodol. Pobl yn dod at I gilydd fel chi a fi. Bob blwyddyn I ddweud, dim mwy. Dyn ni ddim yn mynd I gael yn sarhau ddim mwy. Rydyn ni'n benderfynol o sicrhau dyfodol i'r genedl yma. Nid rhyw fan chwarae efo datganoli. Nid rhyw hawliau I ail drefnu'r deck chairs ar ddec y Titanic A dyn ni'n mynd i aros ar ddec y Titanic nes y bydd hi'n suddo. Achos mae'r Titanic Brydeinig yn suddo. I ni eisiau rhyddid i hwylio'n llong genedlaethol yn hunain i ryddid, i'r hael, i ddyfodol newydd. Dyna pam da ni yma heddiw. Ac mae gennym ni genedl i fod yn falch ohoni. Mae gennym ni genedl a hanes, a diwylliant, a iaith. Wrth feddwl am hanes Cymru, yr hanes y dylen ni fod yn dysgu, yn drwyadl i'n plant ni yn yn ysgolion ni. Ac nid hanes Cymru ydy hanes brenhinoedd a breninесau ar ymerodraeth Brydeinig. Nid dyna di'n hanes ni. Yn hanes ni ydy pobl gyffredin yn sefyll dros eu hawliau. Yn hanes ni yw glowyr yn marw ac yn sefyll dros eu hawliau. Chwarelwyr yn colli bywydau ar y graig ac yn sefyll dros eu hawliau. Tyddynwyr yn sefyll yn erbyn y landlordiaid. Rhyfelwyr, y rhyfeldegwm, siartwyr Llanidloes a Chasnewydd. Cymdeithas yr iaith Gymraeg a'r cannoedd o fi yn y carchar dros yr iaith Gymraeg. Dyna di hanes Cymru. Dyna di hanes Cymru. Cenedl yn gwrthod marw. Cenedl yn mynnu i hawliau. Ac mae rhaid i ni gario ymlaen gyda'r traddodiad bendigedig hwnnw o sefyll dros yn hawliau a mynnu dyfodol i'n cenedl ni. Mae'n fendigedig cael dod i'r rali yma bob tro a gweld wynebau newydd. Llawer ohonoch chi ddim yn deall yn hollol beth dwi'n ddeud yn awr, ond efo ni yn yr ysbryd. Cymaint o bobl sy'n dysgu Cymraeg ac yn dod o ardaloedd di-Gymraeg yn gwybod yn eu calonnau bod ni'n credu'r un peth. Yn credu'r un peth, yn credu yn y genedl yma ac yn mynnu y bydd y genedl yma'n cael byw. Felly mwyn yr rhai a safodd, mwyn yr rhai a ddioddefodd, mwyn yr rhai a aeth i'w beddau gyda Chymru yn eu calonnau. Mwyn nhw i gyd, diolch i chi am ddod yma heddiw, i ddweud bod Cymru'n genedl ac i ddweud bod Cymru'n mynnu byw. Ac mi ddwedwn ni eto wrth y Comisiwn Etholiadol ar orffennaf y pedwerydd, pleidleisiwch i pwy bynnag licioch chi. Mor bellaf bod y blaid ych chi'n pleidleisio yn cefnogi siarter hawliau y Cenhedloedd Unedig sy'n dweud bod gan bob cenedl, yr hawl i hunanlywodraeth, yr hawl i annibyniaeth, yr hawl i benderfynu i dyfodol ei hun. A dyfodol Cymru, mawredd Cymru yw nid arfau niwclear, nid rhyw hongian ymlaen i weddillion ymerodraeth bwdwr, ond creu cenedl o'r newydd, aileni cenedl o'r newydd sy'n gwybod ei hanes, sy'n driw i'w hanes, sy'n falch o'i hanes ac yn credu yn ei dyfodol. Diolch i chi am ddod yma. Maen nhw'n dweud i mi bod nhw'n mynd i chwarae can ac mi gana i efo'r gan os dwi'n digwydd i chofio hi. Ond y cyfan mae'r gan ma'n ddweud ydy gweitha pawb a phopeth. Gweitha pawb a phopeth. Mi rydyn ni yma. Dyn ni yma o hyd.
Dwi ddim yn cofio Maxen, does neb yn un nabod o. Mae 1600 o flynyddoedd yn amser i hir i'r co. Ond oedd Magnus Maximus o Gymru yn y flwyddyn 303 yn gadael yn genedl gyfan a heddiw welen ni yma o hyd. Ni yma o hyd. Gweitha pawb a phopeth gweitha pawb a phopeth, gweitha pawb a phopeth, gweitha pawb a phopeth, rydyn ni yma o hyd. Chwythed y gwyn o'r dwyrain, diedd y storm o'r môr, holled y mellter wybren, a gweiled y daran yn côr. Llifed a glair gwangalol, a llyfer y toiog y llawr, diedd y facfi o'n pwmpas, rydyn barod am doriad y wawr, rydyn yma o hyd. Rydyn yma o hyd. Gweitha pawb a phopeth, gweitha pawb a phopeth, gweitha pawb a phopeth, rydyn ni yma o hyd. Rydyn ni yma o hyd. Gweitha pawb a phopeth, gweitha pawb a phopeth, gweitha pawb a phopeth, rydyn ni yma o hyd. Wyliwn i fansen wledig, a dailyn gwlad yn un darn, a blwyddwn ger bron y gwledydd, fel yma heddiw y far. Gweitha podig Sion Dafydd, gweitha rhenfagu ei chryw, fel yma heddiw edd amser, a fydd yr iaith Gymraeg yn fyw. Gweitha pawb a phopeth, gweitha pawb a phopeth, gweitha pawb a phopeth, rydyn ni yma o hyd. Rydyn ni yma o hyd. Gweitha pawb a phopeth, gweitha pawb a phopeth, gweitha pawb a phopeth, rydyn ni yma o hyd.
Wel, am ddiwedd glon y fe. Gwych, gwych iawn. Dwi moyn croesawu rhywun i'r llwyfan nawr. Dyn ni fel mudiad, YesCymru, wedi mabwysiadu achos arbennig iawn am y tro cyntaf erioed. We've been moved to support a team, a different kind of a team. And I'd like to welcome on stage now someone who represents that team. It's Clwb Pêl-droed Trawsblaniad Cymru. Please welcome on stage Mel.
Shemai Carmarthen. Thank you very much, YesCymru. So I hope there's some football fans left in the crowd. It's a good start. So I know we aren't in the Euros, but we have got a football team competing in the first Transplant World Cup in September. And that transplant team are representing Wales. We're not representing Team GB. There's nothing wrong with that. But we are, for the first time, being allowed to represent our country. So for our team, that is amazing. YesCymru adopted us a few months ago, and we are so thankful. Transplant Wales FC is a team of players set up from organ donation. Every single player has either had or is waiting for a life-saving transplant. In 2017, this team was set up predominantly for people needing a kidney transplant. In 2024, we have kidney, pancreas, liver, heart and cornea on the team. Our team travel every fortnight from all corners of Wales to train in Bridgend. We have players that are coming from Wrexham for an 8-hour round trip. One of the boys has got 5 kids and he'll tell you it's a bit of a break for him. So we put him up in a hotel so he can have an extra night away. What you see in training is a gang of lads and one lady now training. They don't look any different to you or me, but without that transplant, they wouldn't be here today. They wouldn't be here to watch their children playing football, to enjoy their friends and their family, and to see their children grow up. So we are so very grateful for their donors, of course, whether they are from a deceased person or from a live person. For us to represent Italy, Wales in Italy is going to cost a lot of money. So we are hoping that we can gain your support. We are across social media, Transplant Wales FC, they're on Facebook, they're on Instagram. We haven't quite got a TikTok yet, we're a bit old for that. And we're also on Twitter. But any support you can give us, whether it's just a message on Facebook or if it's a couple of quid, we'd be very grateful. Our lads and our lady are supporting Wales, and we are so proud to go to Italy and represent them. So thank you all.
Well done, Mel.
I need a pint now.
Yeah, we all. OK, diolch yn fawr iawn i Mel. A phob lwc wrth gwrs i clwb Pêl-droed Trawsblaniad Cymru yng nghwpan y byd yn yr Eidal. Now then, I don't know if Mel mentioned, because I was just backstage there, with our bucket collection today, now 10% of the total that's raised will be going towards Team Trawsblaniad Cymru to help fund their trip to the World Cup in Italy. So brilliant. So please give generously. So when you see our bucket collectors coming around, you know, if you've got some loose change, then please think about putting it in the bucket. Right, diolch yn fawr iawn I chi gyd am ddod. So it goes without saying, many of you have been, hands up if you've been to a march before. Okay, I'd say that's just over 50%. Unless the other 50% weren't listening, I don't know. But it's not about us, is it? It's about the people we haven't yet reached. And I think this is a theme that's cropped up time and time again today with several of our speakers. You know, it's about having those conversations, getting out there now and converting more people to the concept of Annibyniaeth and a Cymru Rydd. Now, I'd like to call upon all our speakers to come back to the stage now because we're going to end today's rally now in the only way we possibly can. You know, we're in Wales after all, so the highlight of any social event in Wales, of course, is a raffle. No, it's not a raffle, sorry. It's a canu'r anthem, wrth gwrs. So, os newch chi gyd ddod nôl i'r llwyfan, a newn ni ganu'r anthem. Pwy sy'n mynd I bitio fe?